everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be here. I hope you guys had a happy new year. I hope everybody had an awesome holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. An amazing holiday season with your family, your loved ones, your kids, whomever. I truly missed everybody, but unfortunately, I had a lot to do, okay? This was like my first real holiday out of prison. As some of you know, I have a son who will be 10 very soon. So this is like a really important time for him, and then this was an important holiday for us because this was essentially the first one that we got to spend together where I was settled and, you know, had my life in order after getting out of prison from my 10-year sentence, right? So I'm not going to go into all this, you know, whatever, but I will just say that I know I did not upload, and I apologize for that because consistency does matter. But y'all, come on, please cut me a little slack, okay? I had a lot going on and I was trying to make it special, you know what I'm saying? It's like hard when you're trying to do so much on your own and you've never done it. I wanted to do everything right and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, nonetheless, if you guys don't know me, just refer to one of the other videos, please, because I don't want to have a 20-minute intro and then an hour-and-a-half video, okay? Y'all already know I talk way too much. I cannot help it. It's a blessing and a curse. So we're going to jump right into today's video. And basically, I've wanted to tell this story for a while, okay? I know this person very, very well. Her and I worked pretty much damn near every job in prison together, and I know her in and out like a book, right? But I didn't know a lot about the guy involved in this, and I didn't know a lot about the childhoods. So I wanted to try to research and investigate and find all of that out, but I really couldn't find a whole lot more out than what I already knew. So then I just felt like a dummy. But anyways, we're gonna jump right into today's video with a killer couple who was featured on Oxygen's Killer Couples show. It was episode 1, season 1, and you know, it kind of became this crazy, like, you know, high profile case because the two that were involved in the killing were both porn actors. And it was like really a thrill kill. You know, a lot of crimes happen out of passion. So then you have like rage and jealousy, or they happen as, you know, a result of a robbery gone wrong. Okay, so a lot of murders happen in that way, but very rarely, unless you're a serial killer, which I'm pretty sure that they would have, not they, but he would have ended up being this. A lot of crimes, unless you are a serial killer, do not happen just for the thrill of killing. Like, that takes some next level sicko type of thing. Y'all know what I'm saying? Okay, so we are going to talk about a young lady named Amanda K. Logue. Now, Amanda was born January 2nd, 1982 in Georgia. And we are also going to talk about a young man named Jason Andrews. Jason grew up on a farm in Kansas, and I did not research much on him because I really wanted to talk about her since she's the one I know. And I don't want to make the whole video about someone I don't know because that's kind of my angle. I tell you the story and then I tell you about the person in real life in real time. So I'm not going to talk too much about his past, but he is essentially the killer in this story. So I do have to tell you who he is and a little bit about his, you know, his backstory. So moving right along, Amanda Logue, you guys, was born in Georgia. She did sports. She was a cheerleader. She went to school. She was average as far as her grades and academically. Her parents were together for a while. Then they separated. She pretty much grew up in a middle to lower class home. And some of the tabloids referred to her as a trailer park girl. I don't necessarily think that that is the right presentation of her life, but she wasn't living in Beverly Hills driving around in a BMW when she was 16, or was she anything even close to that, okay? Anyways, she basically went to school, started dating a guy in her teenage years, okay? And she was in this relationship for a while, but the relationship became abusive, okay? Now, let me just tell y'all, there's not much that is known about this relationship or this guy except for that. It was abusive, it was volatile, it was tumultuous, and what ended up happening was when Amanda was in her senior year of high school, she became pregnant with this guy. So she dropped out, as most women unfortunately do when they're young, and she dropped out because she did not have the support that she needed at that time because her mother was sick. Okay, now her father was still around, but her mother was sick. She became so sick that it was terminal, and she ended up passing away almost around the exact same time that she was raising her daughter, like in the beginning stages. Okay, so picture this, right? Amanda is in an abusive relationship, okay? She has now dropped out of school in her senior year. She wasn't a bad student, and her mother, who is really her support system and the one that guides you through this very difficult time of raising a child when you're pretty much a child yourself still, has now passed away, okay? The only person she had was her dad. And, you know, it was her dad, so he could only really help her as far as a motherly mentor so far, okay? Now, Amanda ended up moving out with this guy that she was dating and had this baby girl with. And when she moved out with him, the relationship became increasingly violent. And it wasn't just violent like, oh, we're having a few screaming matches. It was abusive. And what ended up happening at this point was her daughter was now 2 years old, and the police were being called over and over and over again to Amanda and her boyfriend's house because it was violent, and people noticed that this little girl was around and was witnessing all of these fights and all of this violence. And you know, when kids are involved, nosy neighbors, and rightfully so, usually get involved. So the police are being called over and over and over again. And it's a very small little town in Georgia, okay? It's a small little town in Georgia, and everybody knows everybody. And if you call the police, there's like a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to get the same officer and over again because, well, let's be real, there's probably like 5 officers there. No shade to small towns, okay? I'm just saying, I'm trying to give y'all the vibe, okay? So, moving right along. The police are coming. They're coming over and over and over again to Amanda's residence. They are seeing that there is this little girl there. They're seeing that this guy is a piece of absolute garbage shit and that this girl is lost, okay? It starts to come out that Amanda is now using drugs. So one of the officers that continues to respond to these police calls at Amanda's house is named Logue, okay? I'm sure y'all can figure that one out, right? Like, woo woo. Okay, not rocket science. Anyways, and I don't even know why I just did woo woo, but it just felt right. So, nonetheless, Logue, who is a young, new rookie police officer, starts to really take a liking to Amanda, okay? Now, let me tell you guys something from prison and knowing her. Amanda is very flirtatious, very charismatic, and when she interacts with men or somebody that she has a sexual or romantic interest in, she is extremely forthcoming and super like over the top with her sexuality, okay? She's not gonna just talk to you and be like, thank you, sir, you know, I really appreciate you, da-da-da. She's gonna be like, thank you, and like rub your shoulder. I'm just letting y'all know, when she talks to you, if you're a man, you're gonna feel something tingle inside, okay? Because that's just how she is. She's just got that sexual energy. She just exudes sexuality, and it's all the freaking time. So, Lamont keeps responding and is really taking a liking to Amanda and really starting to feel for this little girl who is an innocent bystander in this mess of a relationship, right? So he starts trying to, talk to her, and it was very innocent at first by all accounts. He really just wanted to help her out of a shitty situation. He saw something in her that was worth helping. And yeah, of course, he was attracted to her and there was a sexual spark there, but he really, really did care for them and really did want them to get out of this crap situation that they were in. So he started to talk to her on the phone. He started to have communications with her that were completely platonic, but really trying to guide her in the right way and really encouraging her and telling her, hey, you can do better than this. Like, you don't have to subject yourself and your baby girl to this lifestyle. Like, you can come out of it without a man's help, and it's okay. And it's ironic because while he's telling her that she can independently rescue herself and her daughter out of this situation, he's also starting to build a romantic relationship with her, right? He didn't come in to be her knight in shining armor. Let me just tell you guys that now. But he did come in to try to get her out of that situation and maybe gain something on the side personally where he could benefit and have a beautiful wife and maybe a baby girl. Insta family, right? So anyways, eventually Amanda does end up leaving this guy, okay? He gets into trouble, she calls Lamont one day and basically says, listen, I want to get off drugs. I want to do better. I want my baby girl out of this situation. Please help me. And he agreed. So he came and he got Amanda. Now, Amanda ended up going to her father's house at this time because remember, that's her only living relative at this point. She's an only child. Her father's the only one around. And basically, that's the only place she had to go. Her father was not financially doing so well that he could really provide for Amanda and his granddaughter, which is her baby girl. But with Lamont's help financially, at least Amanda and her daughter would have a place to stay at her father's house that's safe, and that Lamont could come check on them and bring them things and all of that, right? So as it looks right now, Amanda's in pretty good standing. She's on the right path. Her daughter's safe. They're at grandpa's house and everything's looking like it's on the up and up. Her and Lamont start really, really getting tight, start getting close. Amanda starts oozing that sexual thing that she's got his way. Listen, y'all, side note real quick, no lie, when this girl talks to you, I'm not a guy, so I don't have a thing that goes dun 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 and stands at attention when I see or feel something that I like. I am a woman, so the only thing I get is a little, little butterfly, a little tingle, a little lightning bolt around my belly button that tells me, this is something interesting, right? That's what we get. You guys, if you guys met Amanda, I shit y'all not. When this girl talks to you, I don't care if she's not your type. I don't care if you think she's mediocre. I don't think she's the hottest thing on God's earth. I don't think she's ugly either. Sex appeal is something completely independent of physical beauty and attraction, okay? Sex appeal is something that makes a girl walk by and you go, damn, versus a girl walks by and you go, oh, she's pretty, she's fine, she's sexy, whatever, okay? Two totally different things. When Amanda walks by and looks at you or talks to you, guys they fall at her feet, and I've witnessed it, I know. So she is now having this budding relationship with Lamont, and basically old dude is out, okay? He's out, he's done. Now, at this point, Amanda's so happy, y'all. I mean, she told me herself she was so happy at this point in her life. She always wanted the white picket fence, the dog, the little, yard or farm or whatever, and the 2 kids running around, the husband that goes to work every day while she's inside cooking with an apron on. She wanted this life. The thing that some people may consider mundane and boring and routine, she wanted all of that. And she was like about to get it all. And she was so freaking happy. So about 6 months go by. Now she has already known him for about 2 months. So we're about 8 to 10 months in, okay, roughly. Amanda and Lamont decide to get married, which is like the greatest thing for them. I just choked and then I tried to cover it up and it didn't work. My bad. Okay, so Amanda, I just want to say one thing real quick though. Y'all, listen, sometimes I try to be so freaking like professional and news anchorish on here because I always wanted to be a news anchor growing up. And then I remember that like I can't not be me because I talk so damn much that eventually me is going to crack through the facade of the news anchor. Okay, so anyways, I just want to tell y'all that because that just happened a second ago. Okay, anyways, so back to what I was saying. 8 to 10 months in, Lamont and Amanda get married. Amanda is no longer on drugs. Yay! And everything is just looking like it's on the up and up, okay? This is awesome. This should be where the story ends. It's a fairy tale love romance, and that is really the greatest thing that could have happened to her and her daughter. But if that's what happened, we wouldn't be here filming this video. So while they're living in their new home and everybody's just this perfect little family unit and everything's so great, Lamont asks Amanda, because remember, he's a police officer. He asks her, what is your dreams? Like, what do you want to do in life? I mean, yeah, you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you want to be a housewife and all of that, but that is not going to be fulfilling to you in the long run. I just know it. So let's find something for you to work towards, a goal, which is a pretty stand-up thing to do, in my opinion. I think he's great for saying that and suggesting that. So she's like, I don't know. I've never done anything besides, you know, lay on my back, drugs, and pretty much just wild party lifestyle. So I don't really know. And she remembers that she always had a dream of modeling, okay? Now, do I think Amanda's the next Gisele Bündchen? No. But, you know, I'm not, I don't own a modeling agency either, so whatever. Now, he really wanted to help Amanda make her dreams come true. Lamont loved her, so he wanted to push her in whatever direction she wanted to go in. And he was going to do whatever he could. So he set up a photo shoot that he paid for her just to get some headshots, to get some pictures to put in a portfolio, you know, something that a lot of people do for their kids or their significant other, just to kind of try to maybe see where it'll go, but kind of thinking it might not really go anywhere, okay? But nonetheless, he did it for her and he paid for it. Ironically enough, one of her pictures started floating around and ended up on a little local advertisement flyer in town, okay? Now, from that little flyer, she started getting more gigs and more little modeling headshots for more flyers, just very, you know, basic commercial catalog-y type of stuff, okay? It wasn't anything major, but it was bringing in enough money to where she could quit her restaurant and serving jobs that she had on the side from time to time and efficiently contribute to her household. So she was happy and he was super happy. It was more money. It was fun for her. She loved it. And he helped her make this dream come true. And she felt like a princess. She felt like a queen, even so. You know, she was modeling. Like, what girl doesn't want to be a model that's plastered on somebody's flyer and then think they're gonna move on up? Like, it doesn't matter if it's a neighborhood or a small town flyer, like, it's your face on there and people are seeing it. So she was happy. Who cares what it was? She was happy. Now, as this is going on, something very, very tragic happens, and this one event is going to spin both of their lives into a different direction that is going to destroy everything, and it's going to destroy every single one of them in ways that are unimaginable, okay? It's very sad, and it all started with this. Moving right the hell along, Lamont gets injured, okay? Remember, he's a police officer. He's a rookie police officer at that, so he doesn't have a lot invested into his career. And he is now injured so severely that he cannot work anymore, okay? He's no longer on the police force. He is pending some money that he's going to get. But those claims and cases, they take years sometimes to finalize. And once they are finalized, you will get all of that back pay. But it does take a while for that to actually get approved and go through. So Amanda's not working. She's dropped out of high school. She has absolutely no skills. So as Amanda is struggling to figure out what she can do to contribute to her household because Lamont, cannot work, she remembers, that there were some offers for some modeling gigs that were a little more risque, we're going to say, and they paid very well, okay? It was basically like, just little schoolgirl outfits, just for some little sleazy magazines, no big name or anything like that, but just some little shots that they would sell or that they would sell on the internet, okay? She would wear something, like I said, a little schoolgirl outfit and maybe bend over, no nudity, nothing like that. So she started reaching out to those people and taking those jobs. And the job started paying, okay? The more Amanda took off, the more Amanda got paid. The more Amanda got paid, the more money she brought into Lamont and her baby girl, and the more that household could stay a freaking float, okay? I don't even have to tell you guys what happens next because obviously this was the catalyst to everything that was about to come as far as her career choice, okay? So every time Amanda would come in contact with these people and she would do these shoots and, get paid her couple $100s, she had that sexual energy that I keep telling you guys about. And she was getting offered more and more risky jobs and more nudity was involved. And, before Amanda knew it, she was doing full on girl photo shoots, topless and in some very compromising positions, and for 1 hour getting paid $2,000 to $3,000, okay? This was great financially for their family, but it started to chip away at Amanda's foundation that she had built with Lamont, where she had this clean, sober lifestyle, this family unit that was going to church every freaking Sunday, and just like a wholesomeness about them that all of a sudden was starting not to exist anymore because Amanda was slowly getting sucked in to a very dark world, okay? Now, eventually Amanda was offered some really like garage, low class, low budget, skanky porn gigs, okay? Now, initially it was girl on girl, and she was getting paid very well. Lamont did know about this. If you guys are wondering what Lamont's thinking, he did know about this, but eventually when it started getting into the actual porn industry and there were live things happening instead of just a photo shoot, Lamont asked Amanda to please not tell him anymore because he just didn't want to know. I don't agree with that part. Like, up until this point in their life, I thought Lamont was like a real stand-up guy. And then he let her do this, and I was like, no. Like, no. Dude, anyways, I'm not gonna rabbit hole into that, but like, no, he should not have just been like, nope, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. Just keep me out the loop, and whenever you can get out, you can get out. Like, no. And he actually said to her one time in one of the interviews, they both stated that he told her, hey, I don't know what exactly you're doing because I don't want to know, but I don't like it and I don't want you doing it. And by both of their accounts, she broke down and said she did not want to do it anymore either and she did not like it. But he literally looked at her and said, well, there's no other choice right now. We don't have anything else we can do. We have no other way to make money. It's just a little bit longer. And that was probably one of those moments that he reflects on and was like, damn, like really kicks himself in the ass and wishes he could change it, because had he have just yanked her out of it that moment, she would have gone willingly and none of this would have probably happened. But that's not what happened. And And it's unfortunate because Amanda ended up going from girl on girl porn to girl on guy porn because the amount of money that they were paying for the girl and guy porn was much higher. Okay. Now Amanda is doing very, very, very low budget. Like I said, y'all can look it up. If you guys want, you can look up her porn. Very low budget, skanky, like literally I looked some of them up, and one of them where she's in a box, okay, and she's on her knees and there's holes all around her in this cardboard box, right? She can't see anything out of it. She's blindfolded. The box is dark, or like not dark, but like covered or something, and there's like holes all around it, like Jack in the Box holes. And there's, there's, I'm not even saying anacondas, because that's, that's a kudo to a guy's size. And these guys, I don't know, but there were little worms and pickles coming out of all the holes, and she was just going around and, licking it like a lollipop until she was very sticky and messy. Like, that's the kind of shit she was doing. It was very, very, very low budget and very, very skank, okay? But nonetheless, that is what Sunny Day, aka, Amanda, was now doing with her life. And while she's getting rained on by Nut every day, she is going home to her baby daughter and to disabled Lamont and feeling really shitty about her life, as they probably both were. So, fast forward a little bit, they are financially surviving and everything's all good, but nobody feels good about the situation, and that is until her path is going to cross with a young man at this point, and everything is going to change for the millionth degree worse, okay, at this point. This is where the story becomes very sketchy, and it just, I know so many people wish that, hindsight is 2020 and they could go back to this moment, because if she would not have been called on this job, if she would not have met this individual, I can tell you 100% Amanda would have never been involved in what she was involved in. She's not a violent person. She's not this type of girl. Amanda is just a codependent as hell, people-pleasing girl that will do anything to be accepted. And unfortunately, she was about to meet the man who was going to change everything for the worse for many people, and most importantly for the victim, okay? She gets called on a job to New York because she's kind of doing bigger things now, right? And she meets a man named Jason Andrews, okay? He is a tall, fairly attractive man with a British accent who claims he grew up in Great Britain. Now, Jason, who grew up in Great Britain, seems to really have it all together. Him and Amanda have chemistry right off the bat, and they are very, very smitten with each other. According to Jason, he grew up in Great Britain. He was in the Arabic Special Forces, and he did a lot of covert special ops type of things and was very high ranking, okay? He didn't have any kids, he was not married, and he just moonlighted as a porn star because he wanted something exciting and different to do, okay? Now, the real truth about this scumbag is that he grew up on a farm in Kansas, like I told you guys in the beginning of the video. He did graduate from high school, went straight into the Marines, got married, all-American guy, like Amanda, all-American girl, went into the Marines, had a child with his wife, and basically had a very average, normal, tumultuous and unsuspecting life. You wouldn't notice him from a can of paint, except to maybe say that he was somewhat attractive, okay? Somewhere along the line, to give you a little backstory on Andrew, just so you know, I said Andrew, Jason Andrews. Just to give you a little backstory on him, somewhere along the way, him and his wife got divorced. Apparently, it was not an amicable divorce. He was very upset, and at this point, he either left the Marines or was dishonorably discharged or honorably discharged. I'm not sure. I couldn't find it anywhere, but any way it goes, he left the Marines. He got a divorce. He had no relationship with his child. He left Kansas and pretty much didn't communicate or associate with anybody that he knew, grew up with, or anything like that, okay? He had a pretty fairly loving and nice upbringing, even more so better than Amanda's as far as love and family unit, and they were much more financially stable than Amanda's mother and father growing up. For some reason, homeboy just clicked in his mind. He was just like, okay, I just want a new life. He literally moved to Chicago, reinvented himself, decided to get into the porn industry and make up this whole fake pseudo identity, saying that he was British, grew up in Great Britain, was in the special ops force of the Arabic, assassins group or some weird crap like that, and that he had no attachments to anybody when he had a whole freaking family, immediate and extended, here in the United States. Had never even been to Britain. So, I don't know what switched, or what flipped in his mind, but something happened to dude and he just went off the deep end, okay? So as he's doing these pornos, he gets booked for this gig in New York, and Amanda gets booked for this gig in New York, and unfortunately, as fate would have it, they meet, okay? When they meet, and I told you guys they are smitten with each other, there is chemistry, they start doing their on-screen porn. But they quickly realize that their on-screen porn is way, way more than just acting, and they have some serious freaking sexual chemistry, okay? They are the real deal. They are so into each other, it doesn't even make sense. And there are people that were on set that said they didn't even think they were putting on for the cameras. They were actually doing the damn thing without even giving one crap if the camera was on or not. They were getting it the hell on, okay? I don't know. They just were. So, after they do their business, baby, they start hanging out. Now, the shoot for this movie or this porn thing, because now Amanda was into porn that they were selling on the internet, the little videos and stuff, they have a week to shoot this movie. So every single day for this entire week, Amanda and Jason spent every single living second together. Every second together. They are either having sex, hanging out in the hotel room, or partying, okay? They had a whirlwind romance fueled with sex-filled nights and partying, sightseeing, being up each other's butt all kind of days, okay? When they are done with this week shoot, they go back to their respective homes, okay? Amanda goes back to her home with Lamont and her daughter, and he goes back to Chicago to whatever home he's in, okay? Now, financially, like I said, everything is on the up and up, but Lamont starts to notice that Amanda is on her phone nonstop. And she is, because she's talking to Jason nonstop. They never start communicating. They are falling in serious, serious love, according to them. I'm going to say they were falling in serious lust. But either way it goes, they were communicating 24/7. And they were also planning to book more gigs together so that they could see each other without anybody suspecting, which is what they continued to do, okay? They continued to book gigs together, and Amanda would be honest with Lamont. She would tell him, hey, this is who I'm doing the gig with, this is who I'm doing this gig with, whatever. She would always be upfront where she was and who she was with, because if it was work related, it wasn't anything that was going to ring any bells or any alarms for Lamont, right? He would watch, his stepdaughter and keep the household in order, and Amanda could go off and gallivant around the country with Jason, get paid for it, and live her best life, or so she thinks, right? So he as in Lamont, starts to notice that Jason's name is coming up an awful lot. She is booking a lot of gigs with Jason, and Lamont is starting to not like this at all. So at this point, he starts to kind of say, okay, I don't like that this is going on, but, maybe you can explain to me why you're booking so many gigs with Lamont. And she explains to him that, guy on girl pays better, and she knows him. She has, a brother type of bond with him, and it's just easier, right? So Lamont goes for it. But as this is happening, Lamont's disability claims also start to get approved. So it's perfect because everything that Lamont and Amanda both wanted, which was to get out of the sex industry, can now actually happen because he's going to get all this retroactive pay, all this back pay from disability, and he's going to get money every month now so she can stop doing it. But if only Lamont had gotten that approval like 2 weeks earlier, maybe, just maybe, they would have never met. But unfortunately, she had already met Jason. So now there was nothing Lamont could do to stop Amanda from going to these porn shoots, these videos, because Amanda was going one way or the other. Whether she was getting paid or not, she was going to see Jason. She convinced herself she was in love with him. He convinced himself he was in love with her, and nobody was stopping them or getting in their path, period, point blank. Okay? So they basically start to fight, Lamont and Amanda. They're fighting because she doesn't want to stop. They're fighting. And one day while Lamont is out, he pulls up into his driveway and sees Amanda packing all of her belongings with the help of Jason. Okay? Jason is helping Amanda tote all her shit to his car and pack it up and leave. Lamont and Jason get into a verbal confrontation and start screaming at each other. Apparently, a gun is pulled, and the story, because Jason says that Lamont pulled a gun on him, but the caller, who was Lamont's friend who called the police at that moment, says that Jason pulled a gun on Lamont. Either way it goes, a gun was pulled, and the police were called by Lamont's friend, who was with him when they pulled up to the driveway and saw Jason and Amanda packing her things in a rush, okay? And when the police come, they arrest Jason. Okay, they arrest him and they ban him from Lee County. So this is where Amanda and Lamont lived, and Lamont felt pretty safe that now that this guy was banned from this county, that he would go about his merry way, go back to where he lived, and not be a problem anymore. But a couple weeks later, while Lamont is out somewhere, Amanda hurries up, packs all of her daughter's things, packs all of her things, takes her daughter, drops her off at her father's house. Not the little girl's father, Amanda's father. Her dad, he's the only one left living. So the little girl's grandfather, she drops the little girl off at the grandfather's house with all of her things, takes all of her things that are still in the car, and drives to Fort Lauderdale to meet Jason and spend time with him, because now she's decided she wants nothing else to do with Lamont. She's getting a divorce and she's going to ride off into the sunset with Jason, right? While Amanda and Jason are shacked up together in Fort Lauderdale, they start using drugs again, okay? This is not good for Amanda, and as anyone knows that has been a drug addict or has been involved or around or had a family member or a friend who's been a drug addict, you need money all the time, right? So Amanda decides that she is going to start moonlighting as a massage therapist, but not just any massage therapist, an exotic and erotic massage therapist, okay? You don't need a degree for this. You just need to be willing to provide a very happy ending to your massages, which Amanda she's used to getting paid to have sex. It's just usually in front of a camera, but nonetheless, she's getting paid for it. So to give one a happy ending at the end of a massage really isn't essentially that different. There's just no cameras around. So she starts doing this and making pretty good money, but there's drugs involved. I mean, what else can you say? It's never enough, right? So she's doing more and more of this, and she's starting to advertise in things like Craigslist or, you know, some platforms of that nature. It is now 2010, so that's like really popular. And long story short, she runs into a man who starts to become a very, very regular client of hers named Mr. Dennis Scooter Abrahamson, okay? His name is Dennis Abrahamson, but he goes by Scooter. Scooter is basically a tow truck driver who also owns a tattoo parlor that's pretty popular in this small town in Pasco County in Florida. And he's had some affiliations, so they say, with some biker gangs, you know, just kind of like a little bit of a rough crowd, okay? But everyone who's close to him said that he's a gentle giant and that he's a big teddy bear, and that yes, he could come off very brash and rude and, you know, abrasive and aggressive, but not in a violent way, just more so kind of like mouthy, okay? So, nonetheless, Amanda starts to really like be around Scooter and, you know, become one of the regular clients for her massages, and he loves it because he loves massages. He loves massages so much, he's got a massage table in the middle of his living room for the massage girls that he calls in. He spent a lot of time in strip clubs. He loved strip clubs, and he just pretty much loved women. He loved random hookups, and he had no interest in a stable, solid relationship. So, as Amanda and Jason are, you know, doing their thing in the porn industry, Amanda is moonlighting as a massage therapist, or a massage pipe cleaner, I should say. So as she's doing all this, her and Andrew are getting really close and starting to talk about things that like turn them on more, because they are having sex crazed like episodes. They are going through like days on end where they are just like rabbits non-stop, okay? And when you're doing that, you're gonna get into other things, like whether it's, you know, all, I can't say it on YouTube, but you know, all the tying ups and, you know, yanking and pulling and forcefully things happening type of scenarios. So Jason confides in Amanda one day and tells her that basically he gets very turned on by other people's pain, okay? And I don't mean like I'm gonna yank on your hair or smack your ass hard type of pain, but in literally somebody else's physical pain, it turns him on. And it doesn't have to be in a sexual realm. He could bash somebody's skull in with a brick, and he is going to get sexually aroused from that, okay? Now, when Amanda hears this, she's not thinking much of it, but Amanda is the type of woman who is going to try to appease her sexual partner in any way possible. If he says, take that cucumber, shove it up your ass, and then eat the whole thing in 3 seconds flat, she's going to make it happen, whether she chokes and dies on it in the process, okay? She's doing it. That's how she is. That's how she's always been. Her codependency issues run deep, y'all. They run deep, okay? So Amanda is hearing this, and she wants to do whatever makes him happy, but she's not thinking that deep into it. She's thinking maybe he wants to smack her around a little bit, and she's down. She's down with it. She's like, I'm game. Let's do it. But he's like, no, you know, that's not really what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like, you know, I want to like actually like just beat someone up, you know? So he decides that he's going to let Amanda pick the person that he beats up, because in that way she'll be involved and they'll be able to get sexually aroused together. And truth be told, he didn't know that many people. He's not going to beat up a girl, so he wants somebody that is like a challenge, you know? So Amanda's like, okay, he's going to beat someone up, you know, and hey, maybe we could like rob him at the same time, and I wouldn't have to like suck so many, you know, cucumbers on the side at these massages, and like we could be cool for a little while and just like reside in this little hotel room that we're in and just lay in each other's arms, because that was her end game. That's what she wanted. She wanted to be as financially stable as possible so she could lay up with this creep bag all day long and not have to do anything. But he wanted to go beat somebody up, aka do way more than that, like some next level shit, and she didn't even know it. And he didn't want to be booed up all day with her. That's not where he was going with his plan. So she decides that Scooter is going to be the target. And Scooter is going to be the target because not only does he have money, since he has a tow truck business and a tattoo parlor, but he also loves these massages, so she can get him in a very, very vulnerable and unsuspecting position during the massage, right? So Jason's like, hell yeah, I'm down. Like, let's do it. So Scooter is out at a strip club one night with his friend Maynard and Maynard's wife Lisa, okay? They're at the strip club. Scooter's having a good old time. He's throwing his whatever he throws. And all of a sudden, he gets a text late into the evening, and it says this. Now, Maynard, Scooter's friend, sees that he's like just, really quickly and excitedly texting back, right? And then he says he has to go. So his friend Maynard's like, yo, hold up, dude. Like, what's up? What happened? Who texts you? Like, where are you going in such a rush, right? So he tells him like, hey, there's this chick and, she's basically a prostitute and she's going to come give me a massage and hang out and whatever. So Maynard and his wife Lisa are like, okay, well, the night's kind of coming to an end anyways. Can we roll over to your house with you and chill in your hot tub? So he was like, yeah, sure, no big deal. So they go with him because Scooter had a really nice hot tub in his backyard, and Maynard and his wife Lisa get completely naked, get in the hot tub, and are just chilling out, right? Scooter is inside getting things ready, the massage table, getting it ready for Sunny Day's visit, because he doesn't know her as Amanda. He knows her as Sunny Day, her porn name, and he's getting everything ready. And all of a sudden, walks through the sliding glass door onto the back porch, Sunny Day, right? And she looks at naked Lisa and naked Maynard, and then proceeds to say something that was very shocking to both of them, because they're married, and Scooter wasn't even out there out of respect for them being naked. But Amanda walks right out, drops her bathing suit to the floor and says, I don't mind being naked. I'm naked for a living. No big deal. Proceeds to get into the hot tub naked with this married couple and then proposition Lisa, okay? Lisa's kind of like, what the hell's going on? But I'm not going to lie, and I'm going to tell you what they said. She wasn't exactly objecting to the situation either, okay? I mean, that's just by the accounts that I've seen in the interviews and what they said. They weren't like exactly completely against something, but they weren't down with it either, like right at that second. So Lisa and Maynard decide to jump on over into the pool and give this naked chick who just propositioned them and Scooter some alone time in the hot tub, okay? So Scooter and Sunny Day, Amanda, are in the hot tub naked. Lisa and Maynard, the friends and the married couple, are in the pool and they're hanging out. Now, all of a sudden, Lisa and Maynard say they look over at Scooter and Amanda is straddling him in the hot tub on top of him, clearly getting D'd down in the hot tub, okay? Now, she's getting D'd down. I hope y'all know what D'd down means. I'm not going to say the word, but it rhymes with pricked, like pricked down, but with the D, okay? Y'all got me? Okay. So she's getting D'd down in the hot tub, and she's hugging Scooter, okay? Now, I want you guys to picture this. She's hugging Scooter like this, and, she's straddling his lap, and meanwhile, she's texting the whole time. She's texting. So his head is, like, right here, and she's, like behind his back, okay? Texting. While she's, like, doing the damn thing, okay? Texting. So Lisa and Maynard see this from the pool, and they know Scooter's, like, drunk and drugged and whatever else he's on, whatever kind of night they've had. And they're like, why the hell is this girl, like, one text, maybe two, you know, like, you're a prostitute, so maybe you're handling some business because you're just working right now. It doesn't matter, there's a dick in you, you're working. But like, so maybe you can text and do that, but like, why are you texting the whole time? Like, it's starting to be really, really creep, right? So they can't stand it. It's bothering the shit out of them. So Scooter goes inside to get something ready and Amanda follows, okay? She goes inside and she happens to leave her phone on the little deck by the hot tub. So Maynard, being the good friend that he is, decides that he's going to look into that phone and see what the hell she was texting. What is so important that you just text for 15 minutes straight while you were getting D'd down, okay? So he picks up the phone, but his wife, Lisa, is trying to be respectful and extend some grace and was like, no, do not invade her privacy like that. Like, it's not right. You're being paranoid. Like, don't do it. And that is another moment right there when, oh my God, I'm sure in hindsight they wish they could change that because, man, that moment could have changed everything and probably would have saved his life because those texts were very incriminating and very, very clear about what was going to happen in the next couple hours, okay? I know they feel terrible and there's nothing they can do. It's not their fault, but I know that they wish they could have, I know they wish they would have changed that decision at that moment, okay? But nonetheless, at this moment, they're inside and the massage has started. So Lisa and Maynard excuse themselves and go home, okay? They say goodbye and they leave naked Scooter on the table with naked Amanda giving him a massage on his back, okay? Now, as the massage continues, Scooter is loving it, okay? Scooter is loving it. Everything feels great. They've already had sex and everything just is going really good for him right now. But Scooter could have never in a million years expected what was about to happen to him. And it is seriously effed up, okay? This is some next level sicko type shit. And I'm telling y'all, trigger warning because it's bad, okay? Apparently, Amanda was texting Jason the entire time that she was in that hot tub. And Jason was hiding in the back seat of her car in the driveway, covered up so nobody would see him. And while he was in the back seat, he was texting her these texts. Now, he asked Amanda to not only be on the lookout for a murder weapon, something he could bludgeon this man with, because Scooter was a big guy, y'all. Scooter was like over 6'2" and really big, okay? But also like for a knife or something. And then he went as far as to say, make sure he's face down in a vulnerable position and unlock the door and then instruct me where to go. And she did all of that. Okay, she did all of this. Amanda knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. There's no way she didn't know. So, it's bad. Jason comes in through the unlocked front door that Amanda has unlocked for him, okay? He comes in and he picks up a sledgehammer that Amanda has found. He begins to beat savagely and unforgiving Scooter in the head, and every time Scooter twitches, he hits him again. And he thinks he's relatively dead, and those are his exact words, relatively dead, but he's not sure. So he goes and he grabs two different knives because the first one was a butter knife, and once he stabbed him with it, he didn't feel satisfied. So then he grabbed a big, huge butcher knife and stabs him 3 seriously huge stabs to make sure that the deed is done. Okay? The worst part about all of this is that when this is all said and done, not only did Amanda and Jason discuss how they were so sexually turned on that they wanted to have sex right there in his blood. But they proceeded to do so. They proceeded to have sex right after the crime. And then they went back to their hotel room and had more sex over and over. They ended up stealing after they viciously and savagely beat this man to death and stabbed him. They stole $6,000, a laptop, one credit card, and some clothes, okay? They stole all of this from Scooter and went about their night like nothing had happened, had sex, did drugs, and carried on in a very normal manner. Now, next morning, Lisa and Maynard want to get a hold of Abrahamson just to see if he's okay. So they're calling Scooter, they're texting him, they're going to the house, they're honking, they're ringing the bell, nothing. And they're like a little freaked out at this point because they left this girl, this prostitute, Sunny Day there. And they just wanted to make sure everything was okay, but they could not get a response from Scooter. So they went ahead and called Scooter's cousin and asked him to come over. Scooter's cousin did end up coming over and went into the house and found Scooter laying face down on his beloved massage table, dead and beaten to death. They called the police, and the police were able to get enough information from the friends, from Lisa and Maynard, about this prostitute, a blonde-haired prostitute named Sunny Day that came over as being the last person there. But at this point, the police had no idea if Sunny Day was there when it happened, gone when it happened, or also a victim. Like, what if she's kidnapped too and she's been taken by these people or something like that, right? So they have no idea, but they know they need to find Sunny Day. The problem is they don't know her real name. They cannot locate his BlackBerry because it's gone. So they have figured that whoever did this took his phone to conceal evidence. But it's okay because there are tapes and there are security cameras in Scooter's house, okay? Since there is a security system in Scooter's house in place, they can just recover the footage and see exactly what happened. So they go to the security cameras, but all of the cameras are missing. They've been yanked out and stolen, and all of the tapes are also missing. So now at this point, they're really looking at this Sunny Day character because they're like, whoever did this knew the layout of this house. This wasn't a random attack, somebody on the street that just wanted to find somebody that was home and would answer the door. No, they knew. So now they really want to find this girl, okay? But what they do in the meantime is they secure the murder weapons, which they have found in a hamper. The hamper that is very near the massage table has all the evidence they need. It has the sledgehammer. It has the 2 knives. It has all the blood and DNA that they need. So they take that in for forensic testing and they find DNA on the murder weapons, and it is very, very evident that it belongs to a Jason Andrews, okay? Now, remember Jason Andrews is in the system because he's been arrested before. So they decide to attempt to locate Jason Andrews, and they don't have a hard time because he is in a jail, he is in a county jail in Florida, and he is being held on a shoplifting charge, okay? Now, they are very confused because at this point, they don't understand why this man's DNA is all over this crime scene and how or if it's linked to this prostitute named Sunny Day. But right now, it's not looking like it because there's no other DNA anywhere. It is just his, okay? Now, at least on the murder weapons, okay? Of course, her DNA is around, but it's not on the murder weapons. So they go to the county jail to pay Mr. Andrews a visit, and they start reviewing what his arrest was for, and apparently it was for shoplifting about $70 worth of clothes from Bell's in a city called Largo. And it all of a sudden comes to their attention that he has a co-defendant that he was arrested with, okay? They look up the co-defendant, and it is a blonde woman who strikes a very, very similar resemblance to the person that Lisa and Maynard, who are Scooter's friends, described as the prostitute coming to Scooter's house that night. And now the connection has been made because the guy whose DNA is all over the murder weapons has now been arrested with a woman whom he's been traveling with as his companion and or girlfriend. And that is the same woman who was at Scooter's house when he was killed. Okay? Or at least the night of. Things are starting to paint a picture of what happened that night. Okay? Now, they go and see Amanda in jail. They don't know that she's Sunny Day. They know her name's Amanda, but they also know Sunny Day is probably not anyone's real name. Okay, let's just be real. She's a prostitute. Her name's Sunny Day. It's probably not her name. So they go see her and ask her if she knows Sunny Day. Of course, she says no. They ask her about Scooter. She knows nothing. They ask him, Jason, about Scooter. He knows nothing. And basically, they can't do anything about it right now because they just don't have enough to keep both of them. And they don't want to jeopardize their entire investigation by keeping Jason and not really having all of their chips in line. So what they decide to do instead is secure a search warrant for Amanda's car, which is in the parking lot and was seized when they were arrested because obviously they went to the county jail and the car was in the parking lot. So they impounded the car a couple days later and they secured a search warrant for it. And when they got the search warrant, they looked in the car and lo and behold, what the hell did they find, y'all? They find Scooter's BlackBerry and Amanda's BlackBerry. That is all the information they need to see what the hell was going on that night, right? But guess what? Somebody deleted all of the data, took out the SIM cards and the battery, and chucked everything. So there's no way for them to find anything out, right? But they're still going to give it a try. So they send it to FBI labs. They send it, wherever they can. And along with it, they also send Jason's BlackBerry, and they just see, okay, it's a shot in the dark, but maybe, just maybe, we can find something. So they go ahead and send everything off and just hope, okay? But while they're doing that, a couple days go by and Amanda and Jason bond out, okay? They bond out, they're doing what they're doing, and that's that. Now, when they bond out, this is really kind of a pivotal moment because Amanda says that she needs to go see her daughter, okay? And Jason says that he's going to go see his British family as well. Mind y'all, this nutcase, let me tell y'all something. He's kept up this British accent this entire freaking time. Like, how do you not slip like right when you wake up in the morning, or like if you're drunk or something? Like, I am like baffled at how much of a freaking sociopath this guy was. Like, he kept up this facade the whole time, y'all, right? And let me tell y'all something else that I forgot to mention, but I just remembered and I have to tell you. Guess what? Remember that movie that they did, the very first one, when Jason and Amanda met? The very first movie where sparks flew? Guess what it was called? I really hope y'all are guessing in your mind right now. Guess what is a movie that would give you a prelude to the crime that took place and is already a famous movie? Can y'all guess? Natural porn killers, right? That's what the freaking movie was called. So it was a play on words because instead of natural born killers, it was natural porn with a P killers. That's what their first movie that they ever did together when they fell in love with each other was called. And then they do that shit. Like, if y'all try to tell me that manifestation is not real and you cannot really manifest where your life is going to go and what direction your destiny is going to end up in by just speaking it and believing it, you're batshit crazy, because it's true. You cannot tell me that destiny is just pre-written and that's what it is. You can manifest some shit in your life and make it happen just by saying it, thinking it, believing it, and speaking it. Okay? And that movie right there that's proof. Like, what the hell? That shit just pissed me off. But anyways, okay. Long story long. Amanda goes to her father's house in Georgia, and douchebag loony bins, he goes wherever the hell he goes, okay? And at this point, the police come to visit Amanda because they feel like maybe, just maybe, since her DNA wasn't on either one of the murder weapons, she was there, and they feel like she was, but they feel like maybe there's a little more to the story, and she wasn't as much of a willing participant as, you know, you might think initially, okay? So they go talk to her, and Lamont comes to see her as well, and Lamont is there. Her father is there. Everyone is there that she loves and cares about and is willing to help her. And Lamont basically tells the police, even though they are his ex-co-workers, he is still trying to protect her and tells her, listen, you're not talking to them. And he tells them, listen, y'all aren't talking to her without an attorney. That's it, period, point blank. And the police and the detectives and the DA basically tell the attorney, listen, we don't want her. She is going to get punished in some way, but we do not want to give her the death penalty or even a life sentence, and that is what capital first-degree murder punishments are, okay? In the state of Florida, a first-degree premeditated murder, which is exactly what this was, is a capital crime. It's a capital felony, and it's punishable by the death penalty. They told her, we don't want that. We're not trying to do that to you. We only and simply want to get Jason. We want to find him because we don't know where he is. We want to arrest him, and we want to build a case against him, but we need your testimony. If you can agree to help us to build this case against him, we will take death penalty and we will take a life sentence off of the table, okay? That's all Amanda needed to hear, because she was in this shit neck deep and with no way out. So when she heard that, her attorney was like, baby girl, you need to jump on this bandwagon. You need to help these people, because for you to even so much as get out of a life sentence when you cold-bloodedly planned this murder and stood right there while it happened, you need to jump on this, okay? You might get 20 years or something, and that's probably what she was going to get, okay? So she proceeds to tell the detectives that she was terrified for her life. She was scared. And, you know, basically he came in to the massage that she was performing on Scooter. He flew in a jealous fit of rage and just bludgeoned Scooter to death because he was jealous and he was angry. And then he threatened to do the same thing to her. He threatened to burn her father's house down with him in it and kill her daughter and all of this crazy shit. And so she was scared and she didn't want to say anything. And that's why the first time she was questioned about it, she didn't say anything, okay?
Jason had something in his hand. It was like a big hammer thing. He started just bashing him in the back of the head. A knife. He was stabbing me. Grabbed me by the back of my hair and drug me over to a scooter and made me see what he had done. And told me if I told anybody, that's what he would do to me.
He's like, you're gonna do what I say or I'm gonna kill you.
Now, she said that she purposely got arrested for the clothes, you know, and did what she did because she wanted to get away from him, and that was her out. Now, let me tell you guys something. At this point, everything's lining up, okay? Watch this tape when she got arrested and when she was shoplifting. Watch her eyes and what she did.
By the store's security cameras.
I was under the impression myself.
Arrest.
I wanted to be arrested. I was like, you know, holding the shorts up to the camera, putting them in my purse.
By the grace of God, we got caught.
Now, as you can see, she clearly held the clothes right up to the camera and then very, very blatantly and openly shoved them in her purse, okay? A couple days before, they had just stolen $6,000 from Scooter during the crime. They don't need to steal $70 worth of clothes from Belle's, even if you spent it on drugs and whatever. Like, come on. You have $70 left. You can't tell me you don't, okay? That's number 2. Number 3, when they left the jail and they both were bonded out, she didn't go with him. She went on her merry way back to her family, back home, Okay, so everything she's telling detectives at this point is lining up with her story of really just being scared and more so being caught up in a crime that she knew nothing about. Then being too frightened to say anything for herself and for her family's safety. Everything is lining up. She was about to get those 15 or 20 years and be off the hook just because, you know, she was the one that basically brought Jason, whether she knew what he was going to do or not. If she would have never gone there, Jason would have never knew who Scooter was. So she was going to get some time for that, but she wasn't a willing participant in the eyes of the law at this point, okay? So she gives this statement and everything's hunky-dory. She goes back home. Baby. Remember those phones that they sent to the people to get hopefully some information off of, even though the SIM card was gone and the phones were wiped clean, but hopefully with a really good lab they could get some forensic evidence off of it. Remember those phones that they sent in a couple weeks before? Honey, did those phones tell a different story? Okay, detectives looked at all the text messages. They recovered everything, baby. Everything from A to Z. There wasn't a nook or cranny that Amanda, Sunny Day, Jason Alexander, whatever the hell his porn name was, it was Addison. Doesn't matter what they tried to hide. Everything in those phones was recovered. Okay? And when I say recovered, it sank Amanda's ship. Okay? Amanda had text upon text upon text upon text upon text between her and Jason talking about how excited they were, how killing someone turned her on, how killing someone turned them on so much they wanted to have sex right then and there. Everything under the sun, and the few text messages that I already showed you guys, okay? Now, with that, detectives are now pretty damn aggravated, okay? So they go ahead and drive their happy asses to her house and arrest her for first-degree premeditated murder, okay? Now, once that happens, she's in jail. She's sitting there. And as they start to review things and review things and review things, the charge does eventually get dropped to second-degree murder, okay? That's still punishable by life, and that's still punishable with a very high sentence, okay? They did that because she was not the one that physically actually ever held the weapon or did, you know, part of the sledgehammering or the stabbing, but she was a very, very willing participant in this crime. She set it up, she planned it, she stood there, she let him in, and she was excited about the shit with her sick ass too, okay? So they dropped it to that because she never actually put a weapon on him, but now they needed to find Andrews. And Jason Andrews was missing in action, okay? Amanda Logue sat in the county jail for months and months and months. She was supposed to go to trial. It kept getting postponed because they could not find Jason. All of a sudden, one day, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office gets a phone call, and this young woman says, I think my new boyfriend is this guy that I just Googled who is wanted for murder. So apparently she had met Jason Andrews somewhere, and he was so, you know, charming and just so awesome, and she was dating him, and he had y'all, check this out, he had secured a really good job. His employers, he had went to some kind of job, right? He had applied for it, used his real name, his real social security, his real everything. The people said his interviews went so well and he was so fierce in them that they hired him on the spot. He was about to make some good money and have a good career. He met this great woman who was very pretty. He was dating her all in these like 7-8 months that Amanda was sitting in jail, right? She decides one day, like, this guy's too good to be true. Like, where did he drop out of the sky from? Like, why doesn't he have anybody? Why doesn't he have any kids or an ex or anybody that he talks about? Like, he's this British guy that just came out of nowhere, because he told her the same bullshit lies that he had told Amanda, right? So she decides to Google him, and when she does, because she knows his real name, really, Jason? Like, You lied about your accent, homeboy. You lied about your accent, buddy. But you told your real name. I just wonder about people sometimes. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways. Nonetheless, she Googled him with his real name. Lo and behold, homeboy's wanted for murder. So she's like, wait one freaking second. Like, this is too much. So she calls. She's like, ding, ding, ding. Hey, I think my new boyfriend is a murderer. And yeah, he bludgeoned someone to death. And now he's got a really good corporate job. And he's banging me every night. Come get him. Thanks. Bye. Okay. Right? So she gave such detailed and accurate information about where he worked and where he lived that they were able to get him in like 2 hours. And they got him. They bring him to the jail, whatever. Y'all, listen. This dude is a trip. He sits down. This is his interview.
Relocation was robbery, but I have to be honest, I think it was more about killing the man. Swung the hammer, really knocked unconscious. I hope that he didn't feel a thing after. I pray, I'd really be grateful at this point for the death penalty. I think that I deserve it.
He doesn't even remotely try to fake the funk. He tells him straight up, I'm not British. I don't have an accent. This is all fake. Yes, I killed Scooter. Yes, I did it. Da-da-da-da. Check this out. Even after they tell him that they know everything because Amanda rolled on him and put all the blame on him, he never turns on her. He never tries to put the blame on her. He never says she did anything. He says she didn't do shit. She didn't do anything. She never did anything. The only thing she did was just lead him there, and it was all him. Like, he had her back in some weird, like, I don't even know. Like, he had some kind of loyalty to her for real. It was kind of strange. But anyways, this is his interview. He basically is told that he is not going to get the death penalty, even though he wants it. And that he is going to be offered a life sentence, life in prison with no possibility of parole sentence in exchange for a guilty plea. And he takes it. He doesn't go to trial. There's no trial. Nothing crazy happens. He just takes it. Amanda is told to follow suit. Okay, she's told, listen, we're going to offer you X amount of years, and, you know, basically you need to take it, because if not, you're probably going to get life, okay? She's feeling pretty good at this point, like she might get off, you know, with like 20 or something like that, because now they've seen all these text messages and they know that she's like a shitty person and has no backbone to stand up for what's right. But she's thinking, okay, maybe she'll at least come out when she's like 40 or 50. No, 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 I say. They give her 40 years. 40 years. That's what they give her. So anyway, she takes it, because 40 years is better than the rest of her life, or 60, especially when you took someone's life and the ability for them to live theirs. So she goes ahead, she signs a plea for 40 years. He's on his way, she's on hers, and that's the story. That's the end of the Scooter Abrahamson story. But I want to tell you guys this. I know my videos are long and whatnot, but like, I want to say this. I knew Amanda very, very, very well. Let me tell y'all something. Amanda went to Lowell Correctional and she got her GED. She started doing what I did, which was teaching. You have to actually take an 8-week course, and basically you are assessed, and there are a battery of tests that you have to pass with a certain degree in order to be approved to be an ITA. An ITA is just basically an inmate teacher, okay? It's a teacher who may or may not have credentials in the free world to teach, but this is not by, prison standards. This is by the state of Florida Department of Education standards. You can and you will be able to teach up to 12 students without there being a teacher who has credentials to teach in the classroom. It means that you know enough information, that you are qualified enough in a manner that you can teach from first grade all the way through 12th, and you can appropriately and effectively and efficiently prepare someone to take the GED so that they can pass it, okay? Because every time you take the GED, someone has to pay for it. And when the state is paying for it, they don't want to pay for it if they don't think you can pass it, right? So if they're putting an inmate who is a teacher, essentially, in that position to help somebody pass it, that person better know what they're doing, okay? Amanda and I met because we were in the same ITA training class together. We both passed the course, which was, like I said, set forth by the Department of Education in Tallahassee, not by the prison system or the Department of Corrections. And we both passed, and we were both inmate teachers at the same time. We worked together side by side very closely, along with one of the other ladies I talked about in the other videos, Leslie Deminick. Every single day, you guys, I worked with Amanda. Now, I found Amanda to be a very pleasant and very sweet girl at face value, okay? I can tell you that Amanda did not have any sense of who she was. So therefore, I think that is what opened the door and allowed her to be as codependent, and that is what caused her to want to be accepted. Amanda has that typical teenage girl thing where she wants to be accepted, she wants to be down. If sleeping with the entire football team is what's going to do it, that's what she's going to do. She never had one addiction more than the other. It was never that she was a drug addict and she committed crimes because of that. It was never that she was a sex addict and she committed crimes more because she wanted that, or she had a gambling addiction. It wasn't anything like that. It was Amanda had an internal, in her core, morally flawed compass that would allow her to do things that were so wrong and so fundamentally fucked up on so many levels because she wanted to people please and be accepted so badly. And by her getting into the pornographic industry, she literally opened the door for her body and her mind to be ravaged and used in every way possible. And that is exactly what happened, okay? Now, let me tell you guys something. I never knew the core issues of Amanda's personality or why she was the way she was. Amanda literally has a girlfriend at all times in prison, okay? She has sugar daddies out the wazoo. Her case was kind of high profile. She's a pretty girl and she was into porn. She has no issues getting sugar daddies, okay? She has them all the time. Men write her all the time. And if you want a pen pal, she'd be a good one because she's going to write you some stuff that you're going to like. And you're not going to have any problem sending her a couple dollars here and there because she's going to make it worth your while, okay? But with that being said, as far as actual intimate, romantic, and personal relationships in prison, I've never seen her be loyal to a friend because she's always loyal to a girlfriend more. So if her girlfriend says, I don't like her, you need to cut all ties, she's doing it. She's doing it. Hands down, period, point blank, she's doing it because she wants to be loyal to her girlfriend and satisfy that romantic relationship. I personally had to console Amanda many a times because Amanda has a very, very toxic correlation between sex and love, okay? She thinks if you love her, if you accept her, if you want her, if you cherish her, if you honor her, if you put her on a pedestal, if she's your everything, that you are going to rail her and screw her 24/7. And if you don't, it's because all of a sudden you don't want her anymore. I cannot tell y'all the countless numbers of days that I had to give Amanda a shoulder to cry on, pick her up off the floor, tell her it was okay, because her girlfriend didn't want to have sex with her, not because she didn't want to, not because she wasn't attracted to her, not because of anything bad, just because she was tired that day, because she worked outside pushing lawnmowers and she was simply just tired, okay? When she would get tired, Amanda would take that as, oh my God, she doesn't love me anymore. She doesn't accept me. She likes somebody else. Who is it? Oh my God, what's going on? Freaking out just because the girl wanted to go to sleep. She has a bad complex that she correlates sex with love, okay? So many times, she would do stuff for her girlfriends that was special, like plan out a day of having sex all day. This probably sounds like a guy's dream, but it's so different for girls. But she would plan out an entire day of just having sex. And she had a lot of good jobs that gave her places where she had little private spots, okay, where she could do this stuff. she would have good jobs where she would have the keys to these little isolated places, all right? So she would plan days where she would cook food and put out, you know, blankets and plan all this stuff for her and her girlfriend to have a romantic day of just hooking up, right? And if her girlfriend declined in any way, oh my God, it was World War freaking 3. I shit y'all not, okay? The documentaries that they have out there, a lot of them say that Lamont is still sticking by her and still with her. That is not true. Yes, Lamont, it was around for a while. It's been over it's been over 10 years now. You know what I'm saying? It's close to 12. This happened in 2009, 2010, 2011. So I never really saw Lamont do a lot for her besides just maybe some emotional support. He was around to like write some letters, and if she really needed something, she could call on him to ask for help, but he never had any money. He wasn't really there like they're saying, okay? Now, not that he has to be either, because he didn't do anything wrong. He did a lot of stuff that was good for her, actually. So, but other than that, her father was still around. He's still very active. He is the one that was raising her daughter, and he was doing a very good job from all the pictures and everything I saw. Her daughter is a very beautiful little girl. Very, very beautiful little girl, actually. Very much into good high school activities and looking like she's going to have a really good life. And I pray that for her because she's innocent in all this and she deserves it. God, I hope she never watches this. Amanda is very well kept in prison. She takes care of herself. She exercises every day. She takes care of her skin, her hair, her clothes are clean and neat. Her hygiene is on point. She is just a very sexually charged being. And what I see in Amanda's future is probably that she will end up with an officer. She will probably end up with a staff member and have a very sexually charged relationship with him. That is what she needs, really, to be quite honest, because a girl cannot sexually match her energy at all. She doesn't have any appeals or anything that she's going to get out on. She took a plea, so that is what it is. Amanda still just continues to be a lost teenage girl in life who, unfortunately, I don't even think she knows what makes her happy. I think the fundamental issue with Amanda is that she doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know what she likes. She's only ever liked and wanted what everyone else around her has liked and wanted. So therefore, she's never had her own identity. And when your identity is solely based on somebody else's identity, then you're liable to fall apart at the seams at any second, right? And so with Amanda being codependent, people-pleasing, identity chameleon, how can you really find happiness, I'm very sorry for Scooter Abrahamson's family. I know that was a tragic loss. His family was highly pissed with those two, and rightfully so, of course. That's not even the right word I should use, pissed, but I don't know how else to say it. If they could have got a hold of Amanda and Jason, man, it would not have been pretty. But look what they did. That guy didn't deserve that. Scooter did not deserve that. He was just a guy that entered an arrangement between two consenting adults, and then he got killed for what? Because it wasn't for a robbery. And that's the whole issue with this entire murder. It was a thrill kill. They did it because this sicko, Jason, had some sort of need that he wanted to fulfill to kill somebody and hurt them. And he did. And now he's paying the ultimate price with life in prison, and Amanda's paying a price too. She will be about 65 years old or so when she gets out. And, I don't really know what kind of life you can have from there, but she'll have a piece of life that Scooter never got to have. And that's the story of Scooter, who seemed like a great guy, Amanda, who's a very lost little girl, and Jason Andrews, who's just a sick fuck. I love y'all. I'll be back this week with a story time. And I'm sorry that this was long overdue, okay? I love you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome night and an awesome weekend. You guys are the best ever. Oh, and FYI, I know I haven't answered some of the comments lately, but it's because I was also like in the holiday season, so I just like wasn't online at all. I was trying to focus on family and face-to-face contact, but I'll be back, okay? So y'all, please don't write me off. I didn't go anywhere. I'm still here. I'm still trying to make it, trying to truck up to 1,000 subscribers. Sounds like so petty compared to the big people that everyone watches, you know, that have like 1.2 million or 5 million or whatever, but oh well, it's fun. It's fun and I love y'all. So thank you guys.